Chairman Shaheen, thank you very much for hosting us today. Director, thank you for being here. This is a critical area for us. The United States spends billions upon billions of dollars on research and development. We do it each year with government agencies that range from your agency at the National Science Foundation, the Department of Energy, the Department of Defense. The Office of Science and Technology Policy is charged with sort of coordinating all of this effort so that it's thoughtful, so that it's strategic. But unfortunately, so many times we see our agencies get siloed in their efforts. You talk about partnerships, and I'm delighted to hear you doing that because I want to make certain we're making the most of our research and development expenditures and not duplicating or competing in areas where we ought not be. In an attempt to solve the problems, some of our nation's most serious challenges, when you talk about artificial intelligence, you talked about quantum computing. When I think about biotechnology, advanced manufacturing, we want to advance as rapidly as possible. We do not want to be left in any position other than first in the world. And I want to make certain as we do this, we know very well what we're doing as a nation. Earlier, last year and in the beginning of this year, Congress worked on a bipartisan basis to enact the Industries of the Futures Act. It was enacted on January 1st of this year. And that law charged the Office of Science and Technology Policy with providing Congress with an assessment and a set of recommendations that would relate to our investments in research and development. And that report is due to us on May 1st. And it's supposed to take a broad view of the full expanse of government R&D expenditures. I'd like to know, first, Director, has the National Science Foundation been participating in this report? And if so, what are you learning?
So, Senator, thank you for asking this question. So basically what we found when it came to NSF is that there's already a very strong partnership between NSF and OSTP. I found that. And I have further strengthened this partnership because, as you rightly point out, OSTP is a coordinator of sorts. You can think of it that way in terms of making sure the agencies can work together even more strongly in addition to what we reach out and do ourselves. So we are working with OSTP very closely and including the AI activities. And it is our intent to make sure that we will have a significant contribution in that in the report that you mentioned. And that is the way we operate. And we have co-chaired, as you know, as part of the NSTC, we co-chair the AI task force. NSF participates very, very actively in that activity.
Is your sense the administration will make the statutory deadline, the May 1st deadline?
I have no knowledge of that. I'm happy to find more details, but we don't have any knowledge of that, Senator.
Well, one thing I want to make certain that you agree with is that it makes sense that we understand how much, where, and exactly the precise nature of federal government expenditures and how we're allocating those expenditures today before we begin to add billions of more dollars to those expenditures.
Can you repeat the question?
From a timing standpoint, do you agree that we ought to have the benefit of this report so that we can understand precisely where and how we are allocating our research and development resources before we begin to add more billions of dollars?
Senator, as you know, I can only talk about what NSF can do in terms of what we are doing in AI, and can give you some examples of what we have been doing in AI because you specifically addressed AI. Just last year, we launched 7 AI institutes, and now this time we are launching 8 more institutes, and we put the call out, and one of those calls is made possible because of our strong partnership with industry. I mean, we have Amazon, Google, Accenture, and Intel. We went to them, and we said, how might we work together to build, a $20 million partnership? And each of these institutes is $20 million scale. So now instead of 7 institutes, we're going to be launching 8 because of that partnership. Yeah. So we are doing everything at NSF to see how we might, through partnership,
and leveraging the private sector.
Leveraging partnerships to see how we can scale the AI activities, the quantum activities. We work very closely with other agencies in AI, including the Department of Energy, for example, and quantum. We launched the institutes together with them. So we will be doing everything at NSF to partner with industry, with other agencies, with communities, so that we might leverage the assets that we have at NSF to produce the best outcomes in terms of unleashing ideas and talent.
I think that's going to be absolutely critical because the magnitude of the increase that we're talking about here is going to far exceed your current infrastructure. And if you don't have the ability to leverage and coordinate well, I think we're going to have a serious challenge on your hands. You do have a serious challenge with what's coming down the pike. We are challenged as a nation from a technology standpoint, so I wish you the very best as you approach this challenge and encourage you to continue to exercise these partnerships in an aggressive manner.
Thank you very much, Senator, for the question. I agree with you. Our competition, as I always say, the moment we look back and check our competition, that's not a good thing. We should be leaping forward so far ahead that our competition is not something that even bother to check back. And that's the position that I would like us to be in. We have always been in the vanguard of competition, and now is the time for us to accelerate. I'll repeat the tagline I use all the time: strengthen at speed and scale. We need to be leaping forward. And at NSF, we are focused intensely on that, intentionally and intensely, to make sure that we are leaping forward in progress. And the support of Congress and support of all of you is very vital for us to get there.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Hagerty.